Picture this. It's 7:42 a.m. and you and your spouse are already having your first business meeting of the day in the kitchen. The coffee's not even finished brewing, but you're talking payroll, schedules, subcontractors who ghosted you, and that one client who thinks you should be available 24/7.
It is way too early for this, guys!
The two of you haven't talked about anything fun in weeks, and even though you technically own the business, lately it feels like the business owns you.
Because I have no control over my work or my life.
And here's the twist. Most contractor couples never see coming. Burnout doesn't start with exhaustion. It starts with disconnection. Disconnection from the business you once loved and, honestly, from each other.
Up here, and it says you could have network connectivity problems.
Today, we're going to talk about how to fall back in love with your business again without ignoring the hard stuff, without pretending everything's fine, and without burning yourselves into the ground.
I'm burning it all down.
And I'll tell you something personal. There was a season in my own business where I didn't just dislike what I was doing, I resented it. The pressure, the expectations, the endless decisions, it all built up until I was running a business that didn't even feel like mine anymore. And once I realized that burnout wasn't a sign of failure, it was a sign that I had outgrown the way I was operating, everything began to shift. So leaning into that, there's something we're going to talk about later, something most business owners never consider that might just be the real reason you're feeling disconnected from your business. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it.
Are you ready?
But before we dive in, there's one last thing I want you to really let land. The fastest way to revive your love for your business isn't by working harder. It's by reconnecting to the parts of your business that actually light you up. And that is exactly where we're going to start in the very first main point. So welcome back to Built for Two, CEO Edition. Well, hey there. I'm Kimberly Ferguson, CEO and founder of The Emerald Edge, and this is Built for Two, where we talk about what it really looks like to run a business with the person you love, build wealth together, and still have energy left over to actually enjoy your life. Because here's the thing, anyone can teach you how to run a business, but running a business as a married couple, well, that's a whole different sport. And when burnout hits one of you, it hits both of you. When one of you feels disconnected from the business, the tension shows up everywhere. The job site, the office, the dinner table, and yes, even in the "we're totally not talking about work tonight" conversation.
What do you say? We could both use a break.
Today, we're going to walk through what it looks like to fall back in love with your business, to reconnect to the mission behind what you built, to rebuild the parts that feel heavy, and to stop letting stress call the shots in your company and your relationship.
Maybe it's time for a change.
Here is the truth no one tells contractor couples. You don't fall out of love with your business overnight. It happens little by little. Every time you ignore your capacity, say yes when you should have said no, take on work that doesn't fit your vision, or keep carrying tasks you should have delegated 3 hires ago.
But as time goes by, it eats away at me.
So today we're unpacking why burnout shows up even when the business is fine on paper, the emotional and operational mismatches that pull you away from the work you used to enjoy, the subtle shifts that reignite purpose, clarity, and momentum, and the one sneaky reason couple-run businesses feel disconnected, a reason most people never identify until someone finally puts words to it. And remember, I hinted at something big in the opening, that unseen force that makes you feel disconnected from your business. We're going to go there. And when we do, it's going to make so much sense.
Someone like you to make sense of it.
But first, let's talk about the real reason burnout creeps in, even when you're still showing up every day.
Every single day.
So to start, burnout doesn't come from working too much. It comes from working disconnected. Here's the wild thing. People assume burnout comes from the hours, and it can, but contractor couples know better. You've worked long weeks before and still felt energized, still felt proud, still felt connected to what you were building. Burnout doesn't start in your schedule. It starts in your story. It shows up when the work you're doing no longer feels connected to the reason you started. When the day-to-day has drifted so far from the dream that you're basically running a business you didn't mean to build. And for husband and wife teams, that disconnect hits twice as hard because you don't just feel it in the business, you feel it between you.
It's before work, it's after work, it's during work.
One spouse starts carrying quiet resentment. The other feels guilty but overwhelmed. You stop dreaming together. You stop strategizing together. You stop feeling like partners, and you just feel like operators. And before you know it, you're not building a business, you're surviving one.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too bad! You keep digging!
Burnout, for couples especially, is not exhaustion, it's misalignment. It's doing the right work for the wrong reasons. It's scaling something that doesn't feel like yours anymore. It's putting out fires you never wanted to be responsible for in the first place.
It's one stupid thing after another.
But here's the hopeful part. Burnout is a compass, not a failure. It's pointing you towards something that needs to shift, a role, a responsibility, a boundary, a belief. And once you spot where you've drifted, you and your spouse can rebuild alignment together long before the business breaks you.
You know what? You're right.
So one of the sneakiest reasons couples fall out of love with their business is this. The business outgrows the version of you who created it, but you keep trying to run it the same way.
We're kind of stuck.
So in those early days, everything was scrappy and flexible. Both of you wore all the hats. Every problem felt urgent. Every decision was shared. And honestly, that season was exciting. You were building something from nothing together. But as your contracting business grows, more clients, more jobs, more crews, more estimates, the systems, the habits, and the roles that worked at 150K or 300K become the very things that are holding you back at 700 or over $1 million.
So I can make some money off this thing.
And here's what usually happens. You start blaming yourselves instead of the outdated structure. One spouse feels like they're drowning in scheduling, client expectations, crew questions. The other feels like they're constantly behind in estimates, proposals, or financial decisions. And both of you secretly wonder, how did this get so heavy? Aren't we supposed to be further along by now?
How long is this going to take?
But nothing is wrong with you. What's wrong is you're trying to run a multi-6 and 7-figure business on the same systems that you built at 5 figures. It's like adding an entire story to your house and hoping the original foundation magically supports it.
There are no magical fixes.
And in couple-owned businesses, this strain shows up fast. You start snapping at each other more. Small decisions turn into big arguments. Everything feels urgent, and yet nothing feels strategic. And the workday never really ends because you're debriefing problems at 9 p.m. while brushing your teeth. Here's the mindset shift. When your business grows, your roles must evolve with it. You can't stay in the same seats. You can't keep every task. You can't be available for every crew question or client text. Your marriage is not meant to function as a 24/7 help desk.
Do you have an appointment?
Because once you see this clearly, everything opens up again. This is the exact moment when couples start falling back in love with their business. Because instead of being chained to every task, they start architecting a company built for scale with a foundation that supports the life they actually want to build.
Let's get to work.
The reason that you might feel disconnected from your business is the one thing that almost nobody says out loud. And yet every contractor couple who's scaling eventually bumps into it. You didn't fall out of love with your business. You fell out of love with the version of yourself the business still expects you to be. Let that sit for a second.
Think about it.
Most business owners think burnout or resentment comes from the tasks, the clients, or even the long hours. But more often, it comes from growth. Because what got you here, the hustle, the grit, the we'll just figure it out, the always on availability, was never meant to be your forever identity. But your business doesn't magically update its expectations when you grow.
Don't count on it! Aww.
So what happens? You keep operating like the older version of yourself, even though the current version desperately wants different things. Maybe earlier you loved being on site, solving problems, wearing every hat, but now You want to lead. You want to think. You want to build, not chase.
I am exclusively big picture, epic.
Maybe you used to enjoy doing the books at midnight to save money. Now you want clarity, strategy, and support, not spreadsheets and stress. Maybe saying yes to everything used to feel exciting, and now it feels like the fastest route to frustration. Here's the real kicker. When your identity shifts but your role doesn't, well, disconnection is inevitable. It's like being stuck in an old pair of work boots that technically still fit, but your feet have grown and now they hurt every time you move.
Felt like I had outgrown it.
And in a husband and wife leadership team, this identity misalignment gets amplified. One of you grows faster than the business structure. The other grows differently, but just as quickly. And suddenly the business is pulling you both backward, while your instincts and your future are trying to pull you forward. And this is why you feel annoyed. This is why every task feels heavier than it should. And this is why sometimes you fantasize about burning it all down and starting over on a beach somewhere.
It's a beautiful dream. Stopping the wheel.
There's nothing wrong with you. You're just outgrowing the role that you built for yourself. And once you can see it clearly, you get to ask the most freeing question, which is, what version of me does my next level business need? And what version am I ready to retire?
Maybe you should take a long, hard look.
That's where reconnection happens. That's where peace returns. That's where your business stops feeling like a drain and starts feeling like a calling again.
Reinvigorated by my love of the game.
So once you realize that you've outgrown the version of yourself your business was built around, your next step is to redesign your role intentionally, strategically, and with your spouse right beside you. Because here's the secret, nobody tells contractor couples. You can absolutely fall back in love with your business, but only if you stop forcing yourself to operate like the past version of you. So let's talk about how we can do that.
Tell me.
So first, I want you to look at everything you're still doing out of habit instead of intention. The crisis you jump into because, well, you've always handled that. The decision you answer instantly because it's faster. The tasks that you hoard because no one can do it like you. It's okay, that one hits everyone. These aren't strengths. These are old identities trying to survive. Now imagine redesigning the business around the version of you who exists today. The CEO who makes decisions, not fixes everything. The leader who delegates instead of micromanages. The spouse who still loves their partner at the end of the workday because the business isn't draining every last ounce of patience. The visionary who finally has the mental space to think about the future, not just the fire in front of them.
I'm always thinking one step ahead.
And here's where it gets powerful for husband and wife teams. Both of you get to redesign your roles. In fact, you have to. Because your next level won't be built on one superhero spouse. It will be built on two aligned leaders who know exactly what their lane is and trust each other to stay in it. When both partners update their roles to match who they are now, not who they were at 200K, their business starts running smoother. Their marriage starts to feel lighter. Your time feels more like yours again. And suddenly you don't feel disconnected anymore. You feel re-engaged, re-energized, back in the driver's seat of your future. Reconnection happens because you change first and the business finally catches up. So here is the twist. Most burned out business owners don't see coming. You don't need to fall back in love with your entire business. You just need to reconnect with the parts that were yours to begin with. Somewhere along the way, your business accumulated tasks like dust. Things you never intended to do, never wanted to do, and definitely were never meant to do. But you picked them up anyways because somebody had to, right? And nothing kills passion faster than responsibilities that were never aligned with your strengths in the first place. So let's flip that script a little bit. Instead of forcing yourself to love the whole machine again, ask yourself, what parts of this business actually light me up? What would I choose to do even if no one paid me? What feels like me, not the exhausted version, but the real me?
At this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
For a lot of contractor couple, the answers sounds like this. connecting with clients, visionary planning, craftsmanship, big picture leadership, mentoring your team, creating systems that make life easier, designing the next evolution of the business, being the face of the brand, or simply having time and space to think again.
Because I have so many things I want to do.
And then this is where the magic happens. When you build your role around what you love and delegate, automate, or delete the rest, the business starts loving you back. Because suddenly you're not showing up resentful. You're not exhausted by noon. You're not carrying tasks that drain your energy and your marriage. You're bringing your strengths to the front of the business, not burying them under admin chaos.
For the good of the company.
And here's the part nobody expects. When you reconnect with what you love, your spouse usually reconnects too. Energy is contagious in marriage, in family, and especially in a business built for two. Your team feels it, your clients feel it, your decisions get better, your momentum returns, and growth becomes fun again, not something that you have to survive. The spark comes back not because your business changed, but because your relationship with it did.
Are you feeling what I'm feeling?
Here's the part I want you to really let sit in. You're not burned out because you're bad at business or behind from where you should be. You're burned out because you've been carrying parts of the business that were never meant for you or meant for you alone. You don't fall out of love with your business overnight. It happens one tiny compromise at a time. I'll just do it this once. I'll handle it. You're already busy. We'll fix that later. It's fine. I'll just take care of it. Until suddenly you wake up living inside a business you didn't design, one that takes more than it gives. But if you can drift out of alignment slowly, you can rebuild your way back in with intention. One small shift, one redelegated task, one honest conversation with your spouse, one tiny decision that says, I'm not doing this from exhaustion anymore. I'm doing this from leadership.
The foot is down. The foot is down.
And remember, you don't have to love everything in your business to love being a CEO again. You just have to love your role and build the business around that. So if listening to this stirred something in you, if you found yourself thinking, this is me, this is us, then this is your moment. Inside the Emerald Edge, we help contractor couples rebuild their business roles, systems, and responsibilities so you can stop surviving your business and start actually enjoying it again.
I love it! I love it more! I love it!
If you're ready for support, clarity, and structure without the burnout, book a free business clarity call with us. We'll walk through your roles, your workload, and the bottlenecks stealing your joy and help you map a path back to a business you love. This has been Built for Two, where systems keep your business steady, strategy helps it grow, and building it with your spouse makes the whole adventure worth it. I hope this episode gives you permission to rediscover what you love about your business and release what was never meant for you in the first place. Because you're not doing it wrong, you're just doing it raw. And now you get to rebuild it with intention, clarity, and partnership. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in my next video.